I'm Dan McPartlin, owner of The Comforted Kitty, cat sitting in the comfort of your cat's home. And this is my video newsletter. And the topic of today's video's newsletter is going to be how to prepare your cat for the return to the office. Something your kitty probably is dreading. So with the COVID-19 pandemic, that has been going on for quite a while now, obviously. And at some point, you probably were working from home. You may still be working from home with everything that changed during this time. A lot of people were not going into the office anymore like they usually do, and so they got to spend a lot more time at home. And you know, that's something that became the new normal. But you likely will be returning to the office at some point, and it may even be sooner rather than later. And so that's why I'm creating this video, to be able to help you and especially your cat readjust to that, since it does, as I'll go through here, it does really affect cats, and it could definitely have some negative health consequences to your cat, depending on how attached they are to you. You know, you may have already had a cat during before the whole COVID thing happened, and then they just got used to you being at home more, or maybe you adopted a kitty during the pandemic, like a lot of people did, and so they just got used to, or they always knew you being home. They never knew anything else but you being there all the time, and you know, just being able to have your presence there and have your attention on demand. That's something that they I'm sure enjoyed, having you around a lot more, but you know, they will notice that you're going to be gone once you start having to go back to the office. Because cats, something you have to understand about them is they're all about routine and habit. That's just the way they operate mentally. They really attach to their space, and because that's where they live, you know, their whole lives is in your home, or even if they're like an indoor or outdoor cat, you know, maybe the neighborhood is their part of their space, but it's like that's their territory, and that's all they know, and they pay extreme attention to the details on that whole space. They kind of map it out in their head, and they know when something changes in it. Things we might not even notice, but you've probably experienced this. I mean, I'll give you an example. This door behind me, which is a closet door, is shut now, but whenever I shut it, my cat kind of freaks out about it. She wonders why it's shut. She'll go over there and like hover around the door and just sit there. I mean, sometimes for like an hour until I come over to open it, and she'll meow, and she'll just like not understand why this door is shut. And as soon as I open it, she'll just like look at it briefly and walk away. It's more like she doesn't understand why the door is shut, and because that's not the way it is. Like, it's normally the door is cracked open for her to be able to go in and out of it. And you've probably experienced similar things in your home this way. When you change something or moved a piece of furniture or something, suddenly your cat knew about it and was making a big deal about it. And because that's just the way they operate. And so my point is that they will know when you're gone, and they could develop some behaviors out of that won't be good for either of you. It could be anywhere from just being more lonely because they're not used to you being gone, to developing some separation anxiety behaviors. Cats tend to have interesting and somewhat bizarre ways that they express their anxiety. It could be anything from not eating as much, kind of losing appetite, to being more restless, to they could destroy furniture, you know, out of boredom and anxiety. They could start scratching things more, or over grooming, where they just keep licking a spot on them until literally all the fur is gone and they have like a bald spot. That's just what they can do when they're anxious. And so, you know, you want to obviously avoid that and transition them into going back to that new normal of you being gone 8, 10, 12 hours a day at work. And so that's why I want to give you these tips. But I do want to mention first a misconception, just in case you know, you hear from people that cats don't need a lot of attention and they don't really care about you being around, and they wouldn't miss you because that's, they're not really human oriented. That's the common misconception I hear, not really from cat people, but it's more people who are non-cat people. They think that cats are very independent, very aloof, and very indifferent to having humans around. They really don't care either way at best, and at worst they're kind of hostile to their presence. Now there is some truth to this, of course. Cats are very aloof, or I should say they're very independent, and they can be aloof at times. There's no doubt about that. That's one of their standout personality traits, and one of the things that I love about cats is their fierce independence. But that's not the whole picture, and it's definitely not all they are. They for sure enjoy a human's presence, and they will miss you when you're gone. I know this for a variety of reasons, but one of the main things I could think of, or an example of why, is one of the common complaints we get from clients about when they come back from their vacation, even if they've had a sitter come over daily, their cat still tends to get a bit upset at them being gone. Like they feel abandoned because they don't know why you were gone for so long, and so they can be anywhere from just like kind of hiding away for a day or two, not wanting to come out, or they can be out but they just don't want to be petted. Like they'll just be kind of like, they'll show that they're angry at you and they don't really appreciate you leaving. Although that's a little bit different of a situation, that's where they're gone for days at a time, and this is just you going to work, coming back. So you probably wouldn't experience that, fortunately, but the point is they miss you. There's no doubt about that they do enjoy having you around. It's just, cats, they need to have their independence, and they need to be able to come to you on their own terms. That's the main thing with cats, is they like the attention, but they just don't like a lot of it, and it's got to be on their terms. You can't force anything with cats, So I just mentioned this because I would say that it behooves you to take the time and steps to reacclimate them to you being back to the office, so that you don't have to deal with these type of things and don't have to put your cat through it. So without further ado, I'd like to go through some tips that I have for you to accomplish this. The first is you can spend a little more time with them right before you leave for work. So budget out 10, 15, 20 minutes, whatever it may be or needs to be, and just give them all your presence and attention. Do whatever they're up for, whether that's petting, brushing, playtime, whatever they enjoy doing, or at that time, in the moment, whatever they want to do. Just give them that attention. And if you have to set a timer and really, force yourself to do this, because I understand like it can be hard when you're busy and you don't have a lot of time, but you got to make time for this, because by doing it, the great thing about this is that for cats, like a little attention goes a long ways. So you don't need to give them an hour or 2 hours, because they probably would not want that much time. But by giving them 10, 15 minutes of your time, you'll kind of saturate them with your presence. And so then once you head out the door for work, they get time to kind of recharge their batteries, and then by the time you get back home from work, they're ready to see you again. Because cats, they sleep a lot of the day anyways, and so they're not going to be missing you all hours of the day. When you've given them that attention, they'll be kind of done with your presence probably for a while, and so that'll make it so that they are ready to see you again. And won't be quite as lonely. Another option or another tip that I have is to leave out some toys for them. So definitely their normal toys that you have for them, I would leave those out so they can play with them. But if those are kind of getting boring and stale for them, which they definitely can with cats, they tend to get bored with stuff pretty quickly, you can go out and buy new toys, and leave those out. You want to make sure they're safe, obviously. It's not something that the cat's going to try to eat or something else that could cause trouble, but assuming they're safe, it's a great way to keep them preoccupied during the day. And you want to get toys that they can play with themselves. So like a wand toy wouldn't be the best idea because you're not going to be there to wave it around. But if you get like balls, like ping pong balls, or something else that they can kind of bat around, that'll be great. And some toys have gotten pretty advanced these days. I just saw a client recently that had an electronic laser light. So you just set a timer on it and it just shoots the laser around on the floor at different times of the day. It just turns on and the cats enjoy chasing that around. So those kind of self-playing toys are great because it allows the cat to be preoccupied with that. You can also buy new scratchers for them. Cats always love scratchers. And you could put catnip on them or just put catnip around the house. You could hide treats around. It's not really a toy, but that's another option, is to just hide treats around for them to find and eat. Not too many, so they get fat, but that's something that keeps them stimulated and not bored and not thinking about you being gone. You can also buy new cat furniture and put it in strategic spots that they like to lay in or be around like a window or somewhere else. You could even, if you really want to go all out, even make a little catio or buy a catio, which is basically like an outdoor enclosure that they can go in freely that's attached to like a window or a door, usually like a pet door or something. But it allows them to go outside in a safe, enclosed environment to where they can enjoy that outdoor experience, which for cats is huge. They love the sights, the smells. It's like a whole virtual experience for them. They'd love to see the birds and all that, and so it's a great way to keep them preoccupied throughout the day and sleeping and stuff. But the main thing is just that you want to keep them preoccupied in some way, shape, or form, and doing those can do that. Another tip I have is to get a pet camera. So with that, the idea mainly is you'll be able to monitor how they're doing, their behavior, and how they're eating, and just how they're acting while you're gone, which can be helpful to see whether or not things are going well or that you might need to make adjustments. We have a lot of clients with pet cameras, and they'll set them up usually in strategic spots around like the food dishes or where the cat typically sleeps or somewhere else that the cat usually is. And that allows them to keep an eye on things. And some of them are just a live feed, so you can just check in throughout the day on your phone, or some of them even can record, so you can go back on the footage and check in on them that way. But and some of them have like motion sensors, so it can help to kind of keep an eye on them that way too. But they're a great option too. And another option that you can have is to actually have someone come over during the day, whether that be hiring a pet sitter, a professional pet sitter to come over, or just having a family, friend, or neighbor to drop by to, again, just kind of provide them with extra socialization. It's kind of the same idea with the previous tip I had with playing with them or socializing them before you leave for work. It's just providing a little more human attention to them. In this case, it would be, likely ideally in the middle of the day, the person can come over and then they can provide that extra socialization and also tell you how the cat's doing. They can give you an update, like shoot you a text or something to let you know how the cat's doing. And so that'll allow them to get a little extra attention, because it's kind of the next best thing to you being there. And even though you may not think that having a stranger come over will excite your cat, in my experience with this business that I have and do, cats do appreciate having the presence of even a stranger in the home. They may not come out and be petted or want to be socialized that way, but you can tell it really does kind of calm them down a bit by having someone in the home and just being there to talk to them softly or just be there, that just kind of, again, just kind of helps stave off that loneliness that they may otherwise experience. Because this is one of the main benefits that I always tell people about to hiring a pet sitter is that, because one of the things we always hear from clients about our services is that the cat was so calm and serene when they returned home, because it's not like some sort of voodoo magic we were doing, or we're like extra special cat sitters or cat whisperers. It's more just that, having someone come over and provide quality time with their cat, even though it's not their normal human that they see, it just allows them to have that presence, even if it's just once a day. Just having that really can calm them down, because they know someone's going to always be coming there every day, and they can expect that, because again, cats are all about routine, and they will get used to that person coming over around the same time of day and expecting them. So it just gives them something to look forward to, and they don't feel like they're totally abandoned. So that's another reason why I recommend this. And it also doesn't have to be permanent either. By having this person come over during the week while you're at work, you could just try it out for 1 or 2 weeks, and that may be enough for your kitty. Kind of eventually wean them off, where maybe the person's only coming every other day to provide that socialization. And that'll be a way to kind of get them used to how it's going to be for the foreseeable future with you being back at the office. But I would always caution that if you decide to go with a friend or neighbor or family member, just make sure that they're reliable and responsible. I mean, this goes for hiring a pet sitter as well, to be quite frank. But you just want to make sure this person is going to not jeopardize the safety and security of your home or the health of your cat. Make sure that they really do care, and will make sure that doors are locked and alarms are set and all that other stuff. But I just want you to remember in all of these tips that I've given that a preoccupied kitty is going to be a kitty that's not missing you, because they'll be just having all that other stimulation, and like I said, cats are curious, so by giving them those things to preoccupy them, they won't be thinking about you being gone at the office. So if you'd like to get our help with professional cat sitting, the best way to get started with that is to go to our website and go to the Book Now tab, fill out the short intake form we have on our website, and give us 1 to 2 days to get back to you with our availability and the next steps in scheduling the meet and greet. And I will see you later.